Nice, mate, you're sailing.
It's the best mate.
See you, mate. Present here some wine. So I'll show you the engine setup first. Got a 25 litre tank down there. Gas. Cable comes through. Got a port on top. Pass the cable fuel line through. And then this is on a lowering system, so you can bring it up and down. As well. So I'll show you the rest of the boat now. Got front here, mainsail, which will show you the launching loader. That's the main halyard. Away. Mast. Fore cabin hatch. Anchor. 20 metres of chain. Gear. Forestay. Going back and I'll show you the shrouds. Spinnaker pole, treading, spinnaker pole down there, bow, and then tracks for the jib, up to here we've got a couple of winches. Winch handles, cockpit floor, a couple of drainage ports at the bottom there, and they drain underneath. So I'll show you down now into the cabin. It's got a big open hatch. I'll show you, single solar panel at the back here, and wire running into the back of the boat there underneath. So it did used to have an inboard engine, and that would be the old controls, but they're not connected anymore. Makes a bit more space in the cabin for storage, and we've got an outboard now. So the hatch here, it's on a big sliding, means you get a lot of space. It's nice standing space in the cabin when you open it. So we'll open it right up. Take a walk down now into the cabin. And down in the cabin we've got a nice big fore cabin. It happily sleeps two. You could squeeze maybe a child in the middle of you. And opening up to the fore cabin hatch, you can see, get a nice view of the stars there when you're lying in bed. I'll show you up the bow here. There's obviously been some drip here at some point, but it's all sealed up now, and it's been pretty dry for me, even going into a strong head to sea. This is the anchor chain, runs through a little plastic down piping, and I'll show you underneath the floor. I'll just show you back the rest of the fore cabin there. Okay, so going underneath this berth, lift that up, and you see there's been a bit of water ingress around where the anchor chain runs, just because it's got an open hole when it's wet. And then in this locker there's a few spares. There's a kedge anchor down there somewhere. Yeah, there it is. And the anchor chain locker. So underneath there, running down into the bottom, so there's the anchor chain, and you've got 20 metres of chain, 10 metres of newer stuff and 10 metres of older stuff, and then I think it's 30 metres of this rope, and all lined with this plastic rubbery thing, so it works quite well. A couple of extra things down there, close that up, and then I'll show you the way the fore cabin can be converted. If you don't want to have the whole thing a bed, you can bring up this middle portion, and so you take that one up and that lifts up, and then you've got a bit more kind of standing space in there, so you can come in, stand in there and access things a bit easier. But I like to leave it as a full double bed because it feels more cozy up the front. So looking now at the ceiling, back to the main cabin. So this shows you a bit of a layout. Sorry, that's just the board I took off just now. Move that. Put that through. So this is the main cabin here. I like to store the jib sheets and things that I'm going to access every time on that top part. And then you've got this side, which is a nice surface. Good deep locker. I store my life jackets in it and some wet weather sailing gear. You've got a sink which does still drain, but the tap just needs a connection to a water source. Underneath there you've got a good bit of storage. Store tools and things. Getting currently 17.5 on the old solar panel. Not connected to a battery currently, but that's where you'd store the battery, under there. And you've got a solar charger, solar egg if you can see. There you go, 12-volt solar charger. And it's just saying it's got ready to charge if you connect it up to the battery. Over there you've got a VHF which you can get channel 16 on, and got a little handheld and more storage there. So this is where the engine used to be. You can see I store it now just for all the fenders and wet boots and things. A little bit of storage under here, although a good place to access all the cables and electrics from. And this brings you back into that stern locker where I store some lot of the gear, but it's a good bit of space for your fuel tanks. These are the sails. I'll show you one of them, we'll pull up later, but I think there's 4 jibs, one of which is a big reacher, one of which is a small storm jib, and 2 kind of working jibs. She's got a couple of spinnakers stored under this locker. Under there, 2 different spinnaker sizes. And then under here, I've got more storage. I've just got ropes. This little part can flip it up, and that can lift up with a little pole, and it sits kind of about here to make a tiny little kind of chart table desk situation. I like to leave it sat down mostly. Under here you've got access to the bilge, the keel bolts that run right through to the keel, and you can see a sign of a nice dry boat is cobwebs. I don't know if you can quite catch them. There you go, cobwebs in the bilge. I'll show you under here. I've got this piece of wood here just in case you were really sailing to control things down here, but got access to the removable ballast, which are just big lumps of lead. They're pretty heavy, and there's like 4 or 5 of them that go down there. And you can see one of the other keel bolts there, all looking in good nick. I think that's about everything. You've got a bit of extra storage in behind these lockers here. I've just got my swimming gear in at the moment, but whatever you choose to store would be fun. Yeah, we'll go take you on a little sail and show you how the gear all works. We'll show it working at least. So these are self-tailing winches, slightly different to the ones back on the back for my sailing technique. Don't use that in that hand. It's a light wind day. That little lock still works, so. Nice. So you how she's set. Now, because we're quite close to the wind, bringing her inside the rails often helps. That on. Looks like she could come in a little bit low. Okay. Or you could just bear away for a moment. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Still could use a little bit of a trip. You get the gist. Now, we like 10 knots. We're moving quite nicely. Sorry, the wind is probably 10 knots. We are unlikely to be doing that. And there are spinnakers as well down below, but I haven't had them out for a while.